I am tremendously grateful to Father Yahuwah for all of the blessings that He has given to my family and I. One of those blessings is the fact that my family, by His grace, is intact. But when I think about all that our ancestors went through so that we could be liberated, it's something that blows me away. All of the suffering, all of the pain. And when I had the opportunity with my family to revisit our ancestors' place of habitation, it left me in awe and so thankful to Yahuwah for their sacrifice that we may be liberated.
Okay. The windmill. So when the wind, see, it's at the top of the hill. And the wind coming in from the east, so it will turn this. But when the wind isn't blowing, then you'll have the horses. And the horses around here. And the wind will turn, and there's a gear. Here it is. There's a gear system right here. And they will put the cane in, and the juice is going to run down over there. Okay? And again, I can't help not to emphasize that these hills, they're steep, filled with sugar cane.
That is so crazy.
Okay?
Wow. And they had to climb up.
Of course, they had terraces. So it was terrace.
Dang.
The whole hill was terrace.
Levels. Yeah. Oh, wow.
So you had to cut out terraces and then you walk up. Whole hill.
What about the coal they used to make also?
They used to make coal. They have a coal pit. You have a coal pit down there. I'll show you. All the way up.
To the top.
You know, to make coal. You got to cut cane all the way up and make a
Yo, that gave you new respect for your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? That gave you some real new respect. And then look at this view. See, that's what got me, is the contrast between all of this hell
and they couldn't go down
and heaven. It couldn't go down.
They couldn't go in the water.
Our ancestors couldn't go in these waters.
It's illegal for the slaves to go in the water.
You said turtles, Uncle Johnny?
Yeah.
Where you see turtles?
The history, that's Tatola right there. That's the British Virgin Islands right here, people.
Grandma's birthplace.
Grandma's birthplace is on that side over there.
Carib Bay, right?
Carib
over
Bay.
there? Okay.
This is Western right here.
Okay.
Okay? That's Jos van Dyke over there. Now, here we had slavery in the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Well, it was all Virgin Islands. This was the Danish West Indies. In 1838, the British freed their slaves. Okay? So imagine, and we didn't get free over here. Well, Bodo and them guys freed us in 1848. So that's 10 years after the British freed. So imagine you're up here, right? And you in the cane. And if you get across over there, you're free. What do you think will happening?
A lot of people going swimming. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Take their risk with the sharks.
They go actually take the risk with the shark going across there. So I paid up to be a free man in my grave.
Okay.
And continue being a puppet
Okay.
or a slave.
That's right.
So that's Tatola right there. Okay? So if I'm over here and them slave over there saying, nah, 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 laughing at us, you know what I mean?
Right.
I tell the master later for you.
That's it. That's it.
Dash down, and I swimming across. You make it over there, it's free. It's like the Underground Railroad.
Yeah, yeah,
From
yeah.
your third man,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You make it from the south up to the north, you're free. So right here. So in 1838, the British freed their slaves. 48, over in St. Croix, our brothers went to Peter Van Scholten and tell him, your life for our freedom.
Okay, so there was a slave rebellion in St. Croix then?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
what freed the slaves.
Okay, okay. And who was it? Who led that slave rebellion?
Bodo.
Bordo.
General Bodo.
General Bordo.
Huh?
Actually, our sister.
Yeah, Queen Mary them came in the fireborn after emancipation.
But you have to tell the truth. It was what's her name?
Who?
The general's girlfriend. What's her name? We all know who was behind our freedom. What's her name?
It's always a woman.
Was it?
Anna
it
Hagar.
Go ahead, tell the truth.
Anna Hagar. We
Anna
all
Hagar.
know the truth.
Listen, Bodo was the man.
Anna
No,
Hagar.
no.
Bodo was
his
the man.
girlfriend.
That was Peter Van Scholten's
Yes.
girlfriend.
But
The
she
governor general,
Uh-huh.
just like what's his name? What a white man in the had the black girl. The president man.
Oh, what you mean? What you mean? What his name? Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson. Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson.
Okay,
These
yeah.
guys had the prettiest of the black girls.
Yeah. Sally and
they had the
okay.
pick of the litter.
Of course.
Pick of the litter.
Well, we are
looking for no old hat.
We are the pick of the litter.
Pick of the litter.
That's
they
it.
come in. So
That's
in
it.
St. Croix, Peter Van Schulten had a sweet thing. And when both of them came and put him and tell him your life or thing, so you better let the people them go, because I ain't gonna have no more sweet thing no more. There was nothing, everything was used on the property. Once you do crush the cane, the remain was used to put fire. Okay, so you squeeze the juice out and the cane peel with it. So you would scoop from one to the next to the next to the next, and it's a heating system. If you don't get the perfect temperature, the sugar is going to turn to molasses. Okay? And guess what? If master say, how come you got my sugar turn into molasses? It blows for you.
Wow.
A lot of blows. But these guys were the technicians.
Wow.
They knew the perfect, they had no thermometers, you know.
Right.
He got ants.
Yeah, you got ants right there. They didn't have any thermometers. So these guys have to be able to look at the steam that is coming up to determine when to move the juice from one to the next. Like I say, if you don't take the last one out at the correct temperature, molasses.
Wow.
So you spoil that whole batch. Okay? And then once that is done, after they come through here, you had the storage house. All around you'll see where the storage house, you had what they call hogheads. These barrels. They call them hogheads. And that's where the molasses was now. Once it gets down there, it starts to drip. And the dripping off of it now get molasses. You put it in a hoghead. And that is what they sent to Europe to make rum. Or to the rum factory. You can't make rum without molasses. St. John used to produce tons of rum. And in St. Croix, like I said, we were the bread basket over in St. Croix.
Yeah, Crucian rum.
Crucian rum. Cane rum. But this is basically where it was. So this whole thing was enclosed. And this was a boiling house. So imagine the heat inside this place.
Man.
Okay?
That's
So the
crazy.
cane come off the hill, go up to the mill. The mill turn, the juice run down into here. You have the sugar and you have molasses. And that was the product. So when they take the sugar now and take it to England, you had the confectionate sugar, you had all those candies and all that stuff over here. Yeah. Right here. Okay. And that's what built the great cities of Babylon.
The great city of Babylon.
That's right. Yep. Babylon fall too.
Our ancestors.
Sure did.
No, man.
Our
for real.
ancestors, okay?
That's it.
These guys were some of the best treated slaves because they were the technician.
Yeah.
Even though they were slaves, theirs who made the money.
Yeah.
Okay? They made the money.
Yeah.
So you couldn't get sugar unless that juice is boiled to a specific temperature. It's key. And they build all this stuff too, you know. They build everything. They were master masons. Everything they built. They build everything. Build the mills.
The same way? They make concrete the same way?
Yeah, how
No,
did
they used a lot of times they had honey and they used molasses and they used sand. And these are just redone, right?
Okay.
But they used to have a plaster where they used to make their own plaster. We made this stuff. They built everything. Everything on the plantation was built by the slaves. Okay? Everything. So this the key house here. This is where the action took place. The boiling room. They call it the engine room. See? Honey, I see some honey up there. Man, if we go up there, we get some nice honey, man.
That's what you thinking.
Who want to go up there and get some
Nah,
honey?
you good. You go for it.
Said fresh.
Look.
Fresh made honey. Honey, go to the honey.
Look, you go ahead. I got your back down here. No.
Some brothers from Accra, Kanta Claus and Punta Kanta and Claus, they all came from the same tribe. And these guys were prince over there. Yeah, they spoke the same language. It was after this rebellion that they started separating our ancestors over in Ghana and Senegal. So if you spoke Igbo and you spoke this and you couldn't come in the same boat. So they separated you over there after this rebellion in 1733. So for 6 months, the natives, well, they owned St. John. They ruled St. John. Virgin Islands history, you have St. Croix, the land of 7 flags, 7 nations that ruled St. Croix. And they missed one, our flag. They had their own flag. They had put up their flag. So they had controlled St. John for 6 months. Yeah, heck yeah. So they they built their flag and they put up their flag. And guess how the white boys find out what was going on over here?
The talk?
Who talked?
One of us told.
One of them.
Talk too much.
One of them was able to get,
for some special privilege.
was able to get one of his owners,
He didn't get fed properly.
was able to go to St. Thomas on a boat. And that's how everybody else, only one white man had survived. The white man who slaved. Yes, master, they're going to kill you. Let's go.
There's always a Judas.
Yeah.
Always one of them.
Always
So
a Judas.
They took the boat and they went to St. Thomas. And then they were able to get the French and all of them came in for 6 months. So they hid out over in Fort Burt. When they came, there's a point right over here called Mary's Point, where some of them jumped off and killed themselves. Okay, Mary's Point, right over here.
Pico. Oh, there you are.
They got them and they captured them and they brought them back in town. And they cut their heads off and had them in poles in the middle of Cruz Bay as an example of what's going to happen here. But in 1733, history was made in the Caribbean. First revolution, first revolt. And that started how they separating out. You go to Jamaica, you go to here, you go here. You never speak this, never put you the same language. Because the brothers here understand the drum. That was the message.
You know what
So that's how they spread the message when they started the revolt. Boom, boom, the talking drums. Yeah. And plantation here and plantation there and plantation there. And these guys send the drum. And they selected it on a night when it was cool and it had full moon.
You listen, Aaron?
Yeah, full moon, so you could see. And the drum. And the wind would blow and you'll take the sound. You could hear the drums. If you beat in Cruz Bay, you could hear the drums in Red Hook. Yeah. And that's how they communicated. But that's the only language. Everybody in Africa knew the language of the talking drum. So they were communicating. And that's how they put the revolution together. Okay?
Speak their name.
The history of hair, we used to have the Indians were here, you know.
Already. Before.
Yeah, the Indians were here. They were here before. They were here. You know of the migration trail that they say came out of Asia, came down, America went down to South America, came up in the archipelago and came into the Caribbean. So we had the Arawaks. The Bering Strait to come across all the way down and come back in South America. So we had the Caribs and the Arawaks.
Okay.
Now me as a student of history, I don't refer to this place as the West Indies. I refer to it as the Caribbean in honor of the Caribs. The Caribs were one of the only tribes who were able to withstand the domination of Columbus and all his gangsters and Balboa and all those guys that came in.
Come by ya, come by ya, come by, come by, come by ya, come by ya, come by, come by, come by ya, come by ya, come by, come by. Come by ya, come by ya, come by ya, come by, come by, come by ya, come by ya, come by ya, come by, come by, come by ya, come by ya, come by ya.
We made it to the beach. We are here.
Turn in the back on the most patient. We got
It wasn't charging.
Romans inspired by Satan, but we don't study history.
so it's lost in translation. Now they're a boule, a Freemason. Rather eat pig, that abomination.